it's fair to say that literally William and Catherine, alongside His Majesty the King, have truly had some heart-stopping moments at the very beginning of 2024. No one could have foreseen, of course, when we last saw the royal family all together in, of course, the Christmas Day walkabout, as we all love to see every single year, even though it's freezing up there. The bottom line is, we never know the future, do we? That's the thing. All of us, nobody knows, and everybody has an opinion and all that sort of stuff. But truly, life can spin, as they often say on that phrase, don't they, on a sixpence. And this is truly what's happened, according to a very well-placed source regarding His Royal Highness Prince William, the Prince of Wales. As ever, let me explain. I'll have a wave. You're right. It's beautiful sunshine. Isn't this nice? It's just lovely, isn't it, to be out in the sunshine? And good, of course, if you're doing your washing. You are. Yeah, well, there's nothing, it's cheaper, isn't it? Get it out on the line. Do you remember a while back we talked about that? And I got such an influx of mismatched sort of messages because some people say, I never peg anything out. And I thought, well, why wouldn't you? It's just nicer to be dried in the sun, isn't it? Who did this, by the way, when they were younger? A bit of an old wives thing, but does work even today. If you put your pillowcases out, say on your lawn or even just hanging from your window in a hot sunny day and put some lemon juice on them, of course, basically, it brings them back white, far cheaper than all of those things that you pay a fortune for, the ones I mean, that apparently are going to bring everything back sparkling white. Yes. Have you done that? Oh, you're going to have a go. Lovely, you see. A free tip. Oh, yes. I'm becoming an influencer. Back as ever to your whole story of the day. Yeah, I mean, really, on a more serious note, it's a bit of a tricky thing, isn't it, when you think? Because, earlier this year, His Royal Highness Prince William was blasted seemingly because, of course, of his lack of religious beliefs. It came out that allegedly he only really goes to church around about twice a year. And then, a lot of people said, well, that's up to him. But, of course, his father, His Majesty the King, is indeed the head of the church and really an incredibly religious man, interested in all faiths, in fact, looking at all directions. And I admire that about Charles, actually. I think it's kind of good to look at every different faith and think, does that work for you? What do you want to believe in? It's a big ask for anybody, I believe, in the world of religion, but I think we should all keep it personally private. That's the thing. If you bring up religion and politics, of course, you're bound to have an argument, aren't you? It's whether you like even something similar, like, banana sandwiches or not. You do. Well, I'm glad, because so do I. Brown or white bread, though, that's the trick. You see, we're already arguing. I can see it looming. But on a more serious note, really what's turned Prince William's sort of faith around is simply this. As we know, his wife Catherine has been battling an illness now for a considerable period of time. And according to that very well-placed source, he literally turned to the church. And I think this is really invigorating. The bells. It's really invigorating, in fact, because I just sort of feel that, not just because he will become the head of the church in the future, but that's his prerogative, his decision. And apparently, he didn't really know which way to turn. Not only was his beautiful wife now suffering, but of course his father too. And he must have felt that his world was simply coming apart. Let's also commend Prince William, because whatever you think, he's carried on with a lot of duties, with no fuss, no nonsense, no looking for sympathy, no breaking down, no big confessional interviews, any of that sort of stuff. I admire him for that. But according to that source, literally he decided, well, where could he turn? And apparently this has brought him and his wife Catherine even closer together. And I think it's a really nice sort of thought, don't you, to think that, as I say, religion or non-religion, it has to work with how you feel it is between yourselves or as an individual person. But obviously Catherine, in her darkest hour, must have looked at something and thought, how did I get this? Why? And then more importantly, how can I move through? And sometimes guidance, whether you believe it or not, from above can be literally everything. And seemingly it's now being rediscovered by, soon to be, in many years to come hopefully, our head of church, Prince William. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.